welcome to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. Thanks for joining me today. My special guest from the Amanda FFA chapter, Sarah and Aaron Sharp. How are you?
We're doing quite well.
Thanks for being here today. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to talk a little bit about, because you guys have made history in communications, being siblings, the only two that are going to go on to represent Ohio down the road in Indianapolis. But let's talk a little bit about FFA and how you got involved with it and all those things.
Sure. I guess I can start out here. I started the FFA 2 years ago when I was a freshman. I started with the program because our family in particular has a long history of success in the FFA. All of our uncles were in the FFA. Our dad was in the FFA. He was a state reporter. Our grandfather was in the FFA. He was a state vice president. We just have a very long, rich family history in the organization. Our uncle's one of the advisors at the school. Our chapter in particular at Amanda-Clearcreek is one of the strongest in the country, is what we like to tout. Something we're very proud of, despite our small size.
How many are in the FFA?
Almost half the high school, so about almost 200 people.
Oh, wow.
Which is more than the state of Rhode Island.
Sarah, I know FFA does a lot of different things. Talk a little bit about community involvement, what you guys do.
Yeah, we actually do a bunch of community involvement throughout the FFA. We do a food drive in December, and we give those to the local churches. We also help out with volunteer work. We work things like the Pelotonia race or the Thad Davis race, so we do a lot throughout there just to promote the FFA and the things that we do.
Wow, that's a lot. And how long have you both been in it?
I've been in since my freshman year. I'm coming to the end of my junior year, so about 3 years now is how long I've been in the program.
This is my first year.
And
I'm a freshman.
What made you get into it?
Well, I noticed how much success Aaron had and just how much success our FFA in general had as a chapter, and I just realized all the great opportunities and experiences that it had to offer, and I just thought it would be great to join.
Now, we're talking a little bit about FFA, but you guys have made history because, again, you're the only siblings to be involved in this. Talk a little bit about what that means to you guys.
Well, I think it just shows a lot on our determination and how much we work hard, and our family is just very determined when it comes to doing our best, and I think that shows through the fact that we've both won our state contests, and even with the rest of our public speakers, we had in all 5 of the categories at the state contest, we had all 5 of our public speakers advance to the state contest. But with Aaron and I winning the state, I think it just shows how passionate we are about the FFA and how determined we are when it comes to our respective competitions.
Yeah, this is actually the second year in a row that all 5 of our speakers have advanced to the state contest. And this year is very notable in that we all placed in the top 10, very close to the top, every single one of them. So we have a very strong public speaking program at the Amanda-Clearcreek FFA, and we have definitely benefited from that. We're beneficiaries of that. A lot of what we have done is because our advisors, our parents, and a lot of other people who've given their time to our public speaking program to really help out everyone to just kind of unlock their potential, you might say, and to really drive us forward to want to accomplish these contests, these goals.
Now, your parents are both involved in communications. Talk a little bit about their influence on you.
Well, our mom is actually a professor at The Ohio State University for public speaking, so that's been a big part of our public speaking knowledge because that's helped us a lot throughout that, and she's actually coached a bunch of our public speaking competitions, not just us, but the rest of our fellow teammates. And so that's helped us a lot to just unlock our best potential and be the best that we can. And our dad as well is also very involved in communications. So that's just definitely rubbed off on us and the rest of our teammates and helping us become better public speakers.
Is there a time that you've said, wait a minute, Mom, Dad, I'm not sure. Is there any...
I've always been pretty interested in communications. I guess it's just something that comes naturally, just because, you might say it's in our blood, I guess. They have both been involved in communications for a very long time. That's what they went to college for. They got communications degrees. Dad was the editor of the Ohio's Country Journal for a number of years. So, not only do we both enjoy it, is something that we like to do just in a contest or just as a professional thing. But we've had a lot of success. We have a lot of drive from our parents. It's just something we really enjoy, something we have a lot of support for. At our church, we also like to help out with some communication things there, some speaking, like the liturgist position where we read the scripture some Sundays. Coming up this spring, I'll be narrating the Easter cantata, so that's another thing.
And what church
that I'll be doing as well? Heidelberg Church in Stoutsville.
Okay. That's fantastic. You guys are doing a lot of different things. What do you do outside FFA besides?
Well, I'm actually involved in 3 sports. I'm involved in volleyball, basketball, and track. And then outside of school, Aaron and I are also in 4-H. And also we have a lot of involvement in our church, but we show dairy feeders at our county fair. And then we're also both involved in the student council.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I am also involved in the band, the marching, concert, pep, and jazz bands. I really like our band. We have a really strong instrumental music program at Amanda, I think. And
who's the band director at Amanda?
Corey Meyer.
Okay.
So band is really great, something I really enjoy. I'm also in the drama club and academic challenge. I'm on the academic challenge team. And then I'm in the National Honor Society as well. And so we have a lot of really great opportunities at our school that we can get involved in, and I have definitely made sure to take advantage of those and to be able to not only try to excel as best I can and get as much out of those opportunities as I'm able to, but then in the process try to help out everyone else around me that's also trying to do that, or maybe doesn't have quite the motivation to go forward and accomplish those things as well, to give them a little bit of motivation to do that.
Let's talk a little bit about the competition, because you both finished first in your respective categories, and talk a little bit about your category and your category.
Sure. So I have been doing the extemporaneous contest since my freshman year. We had a few speakers who might have done it, but a lot of them, they'd been prepared speakers, and they decided, well, I don't really want to do this. The contest is extemporaneous, and what it means is you have some topics to choose from. There's a large category of them. You can research those beforehand. But at the contest, they'll give you a topic, you have half an hour to prepare a speech on that and then give it and answer questions. And for some people, obviously, it's really difficult. Well, I like it a lot more than preparing a speech beforehand. It's just a lot more natural to me. And so I've been doing that since freshman year. This year, I won the contest. That felt really good to be able to do that. And so the national contest will be pretty much the same as it always is at any other level, but the competition is a lot more... It's a lot more competitive, really.
And that's in Indianapolis.
That is in Indianapolis, yes, in October.
Sarah, talk a little bit about yours.
Yes, I recite the FFA Creed, which was written by E.M. Tiffany in 1928. And what that is, it's a 5-paragraph speech. So I first recite that, it's memorized, and then I answer questions afterwards. And the questions really kind of separate you from your competition, because that's a very important part of it, is being able to answer those questions as well as you can. Make sure that they're long and extensive and have great knowledge about it, but it's more questions in the creed that have to do with, like, what's your favorite line of the creed, what does this line mean to you, and specific things like that.
Wow. Now talk a little bit about the local competition and then what you'll face in Indianapolis.
Sure. So Amanda is in District 7 in terms of FFA districts for contests for the state level. District 7 has a lot of really strong competition. And at the county level, at the district level. And so that's definitely good preparation for going into the state contest in particular. At the state level, also really strong competition. That's the second highest level, aside from the regional contest, I suppose. At the state level, the first place winners will go on to nationals. The second place will go on to the regional contest. Those are both really high levels of competition. You don't want to discredit any of those. Obviously, winning the state, getting second place in the state, getting the top 10 is a very prestigious, it's a very hard thing to do. But the national competition, the disparity between the state and the national competition, I cannot stress that enough. You really have to take those 3 or 4 months that you have to prepare for the national contest and really use those to the best of your ability, because you're going to have to be at your best to compete well.
So when you talk about preparing, is this 2 hours a night, 3 hours a night? What do you prepare? How do you prepare?
For me personally, I know that Aaron doesn't do this as much, but since it is a memorized speech, what I do is, my advisor had us do it once a day. And we would go in, well, I would go in and I would recite the creed to him in my best public speaking voice with the most emotion and accent on certain things to make sure that I'm speaking well. And then I would practice on my questions most of the time would be the most important thing, making sure that I have the best answers for all those questions, being prepared for anything they're going to throw at you because you never know what question they're going to ask you. So I would recite the creed and answer questions, and that was how I would prepare for it.
Can you do the creed, just a little bit of it, like you would in the competition?
Do you want me to say the first paragraph?
Sure.
Okay. I believe in the future of agriculture, with a faith born not of words, but of deeds. Achievements won by the present and past generations of agriculturists, in the promise of better days through better ways, even as the better things we now enjoy have come to us from the struggles of former years.
Wow, fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, how long did it take you to memorize that?
Well, I actually had to memorize it for class because it's one of the necessary things for our freshman Ag, Food, and Natural Resources classes. We have to be able to recite the creed. And so I just recited all 5 of the paragraphs there, and I had it memorized before I started the contest.
That's fantastic. Now, and Aaron, they give you a topic?
Right. So you have a broad list in their contest packet. They give you 5 topic categories, and then there are 25 subtopics in each of those. And your speech could be on any number of the 125 options that you have. Now, when you go into the contest, sometimes they'll ask you for 1, or they'll ask you for 2, or they'll ask you just for any number of the main categories, or they'll just pick out 1 from each of the 5. And then they'll give you 5 subtopics out of all 125, and you have to pick one of those to present as your speech. I really enjoy it because there are a lot of different topics you can cover. There's a lot to learn from the contest. Most of the time when I prepare, I don't like to give a speech outside of the contest air, outside of that atmosphere. It just doesn't feel as natural. A lot of that just is something that comes naturally to me as soon as I'm in the contest. But something that I really stress is being able to prepare all that knowledge. You have to gather all of that. You have to prepare it in some sort of way, make it flow well, so that when you do go into the contest, you have only 30 minutes to prepare a speech. So you have to kind of make a skeleton of what you're going to say, and then you have to fill in all the gaps with details that you have done research on, either in those 30 minutes or that you've done beforehand, so you can kind of prepare yourself to go through each part of the speech mentally before you go in and you present.
Wow, that's amazing. So if we give you a topic, you could talk about it?
Probably.
How about ethnocentricity in the public school system as adverse effects?
Okay, so
I'm just kidding.
If you want me to, I will.
That was ready to go.
That was the first college paper I had to write. I always remember that. My first English or composition class and my calculus class was doing the slope of a tangent line, and I said, "Where in the world would I ever use the slope of a tangent line?" And the professor said, "You probably never will."
I feel that in calculus every day.
Yeah, that's it. So, and you had some. There were actually 5 people that talk a little bit about the others that are going to compete too.
Well, I guess with the 5 who are competing in that state competition, since they didn't win in the state, they won't be advancing to nationals, but they all did extremely well in their respective categories. We were all in the top 10, and so it was really great to have all 5 of our people representing at the state level, because with a lot of the other schools and the people you meet there, they're usually the only one, and they don't have somebody else in those other categories. But the fact that we had all 5 of our speakers in there, it showed how strong our public speaking is, and all the people who are doing it, and just how hard we work on each of our different speeches.
That was Kylie Holbrook, Allie Poston, and Morgan Anderson.
Yep.
All did really well.
Yes, yeah.
One other thing that's important to note, too, is that of the 5 speaking topics that we have in Ohio, 2 of those are Ohio-specific, which means that even if you win, you won't move on to a regional or a national contest. That would be beginning prepared speaking for freshmen and sophomores, and advanced creed speaking, which is a creed contest for someone who it's their first year in the FFA, but they're not a freshman. Those categories are Ohio-specific just for us, and they do not move on, whether or not they win. So winning the state contest in one of those categories is really important, because, I mean, that is the top level of competition you're going to be up against.
Now, advice to younger kids coming up to get into FFA and do this?
FFA has a lot of opportunities that a lot of other organizations at the high school level don't offer, or at least to the level and in the variety that FFA does. A lot of people have a misconception that the FFA is a strictly agricultural organization. When most people think of FFA, a lot of our staff or people that I'll talk to, the terms that they'll use are either VOAG or Future Farmers of America, you know, and which are fine. The organization used to be called the Future Farmers of America. In the late 80s, they changed the name strictly to National FFA Organization because they wanted to try to bring more people into the organization to try to prepare tomorrow's leaders. And so a lot of the opportunities that the FFA does present are agriculturally related. The agronomy contest, the nature contest, nature and wildlife, forestry, a lot of those do have kind of an agricultural base to them. But the parliamentary procedure topic, any of the public speaking categories, agricultural issues, agricultural communications, they have an agricultural twist to them because in agriculture, communication is extremely important. But communication and being able to run a business meeting are extraordinarily important in any career field that you go into. So I cannot stress enough to 8th graders who are coming into high school, or freshmen, or even sophomores or juniors. For anyone else who is not in the program who wants to get some sort of a base in their career field and does not have that experience, who wants to be more prepared than everyone else going in at the next level, FFA is a wonderful opportunity.
Like Aaron said, I think a lot of people are hesitant to join FFA because they do believe it's only for farmers, it's only with people with an agricultural background, but there are many people in the FFA, especially ours, that don't have that agricultural background. But there are so many different opportunities that FFA has that don't only have to do with agriculture. For example, I did the job interview contest, and it had mostly to do, you did a mock interview with someone, and you answered questions like you would in any other job interview. So I think there are different things like that that can get you prepared for your career in the future, whether you are interested in agriculture or you're not. And I think people need to realize that it doesn't only have to do with agriculture, and just try to give it a shot and see what you think of it, because there's a lot of opportunities that it has to offer.
Future plans for you two down the road?
So at the current moment, I'm looking into a career in political science and law. If I can, I'm trying to apply to Harvard University to try and get in there. It's a goal I have. More than likely, I'll probably end up at Ohio State, which of course is a wonderful college. I really like the campus. I've been there a lot. It's really great opportunities there as well.
Well, it's the old saying, if you can't go to Ohio U, you go to Ohio State.
Yeah.
That was for your mom. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, sure. So that's what I'm looking into. I've also looked at public education because, especially through my years in high school, I've had a lot of great relationships with a lot of the staff at Amanda-Clearcreek. We have some really great people who work there. And I just think that'd be a really wonderful opportunity just to be able to encourage students into the career paths that they want to take and try to drive them toward their strengths, their strong suits, what they enjoy, so that they can be successful in their own careers. Because obviously, our youth are our future. We have to make sure that they're built up and ready to be prepared to take over once the generation ahead of them is ready to step down. So that's extraordinarily important.
Sarah?
I'm not entirely sure yet, just because it is so early in my high school career, but I'm also thinking probably something in law. That interests me.
Fantastic. That's, again, we're talking with Sarah and Aaron Sharp from Amanda-Clearcreek FFA. Now, the competition is later this fall in Indianapolis?
Yep, in October. It'll be late October.
So are you preparing, obviously, now to do that? Is it a one-day event, a two-day event?
Well, to be honest, I'm not quite sure. It depends on the contest. When my agricultural issues forum team went at the beginning of my sophomore year, the event was 2 days if you made it to the finals round. So there were 2 days of competition depending on how far you advanced. For agricultural communications, which I went to earlier this year, our team, we've had a lot of success at the national level. That contest went over the course of 3 days, if I remember correctly. It was over the course of all 3 days of the contest, with competing one day in the presentation category, doing your tests for AgCom the next day, and then the banquet on the last day and everything. So that it just really depends on the contest, depending on how far you advance and how multifaceted it is, how many different parts it has.
So obviously you're both looking forward to it. Your mom and dad are looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Then after you win in Indianapolis, because I'm sure you're going to win. Is there anything after that? That's
it. That's the end of it after nationals. So if you win, you're the top dog, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's
Not for you. I'm fairly certain that if you happen to win, you have to give the creed in front of the entire national convention of 60,000 people.
Oh, that's a breeze.
I have to do it I'm presenting it at state convention in early May in front of everybody there, but yeah.
Well,
I guess
that'll be easy. I mean, we just have millions of people watching the show. So you're fine, you're all right.
I'll be done. I'll be able to relax. This one will have to do something else if she wins. She won't be done quite yet.
That's it. Is there any other? Can you go to other categories? If you want to do something like can you as a senior and then as a sophomore, can you switch categories, or will you stay with what categories you're both in?
After you're done for Creed, it's only mostly for, I guess 8th graders can do it and freshmen who are involved in FFA. So after that, you can't do the Creed anymore. After you're done with that year, in certain contests, you can do it multiple years if you don't win the state. But after you win the state in a contest, you cannot do it anymore because they want new people coming in and not those same people coming back to win it. So you have to actually pick a new contest if you win. So, for example, Aaron won extemporaneous this year. He won't be able to do it anymore. Not next year. So.
Well, that's it's just amazing. I mean, and at what point did you start thinking, I want to do this? I mean, how old were you? Or did you just wake up one day and say, hey, I want to do this. I want to be involved in these competitions?
Well, I noticed Aaron, and I remember his freshman year when I would have been a 7th grader. I went and I watched a bunch of his forums for ag issues, and I realized that it seemed like a really great opportunity, and it seemed really fun to me. So I just realized that I wanted to have the same success he had and had that same opportunity. And that's kind of when I realized that I wanted to do it.
Yeah, even when I was younger, I had a lot of other people that I knew, and as I got older, other older cousins and things who were in the FFA program, and they had a lot of success with it. And we'd go to the banquets, and we'd see all the successes they had, and I thought, well, I mean, this is just something I'm going to have to do. Right. I just have to, it's just another, I just have to follow in the footsteps of everyone else. At the time, I thought, well, it wasn't really an option, but as I really got into it, I thought, this is a wonderful opportunity, and so I was really excited to see what I could accomplish in the FFA.
You mentioned District 7 earlier, and what composes District 7? Is it local schools? How far does it go? Is Central Ohio?
District 7 is, I think, the largest of the districts in the state in terms of land area. Primarily some of central and a lot of southeastern Ohio. So you have, obviously, everyone in the area: Bloom, Carroll, Fairfield Union, Liberty Union. I think Byrne Union's in the district too. Okay. You have us. There are a lot of chapters in District 7. So our county contests, which some competition, it depends on the competition. Right. Some of them don't have county contests because there aren't enough teams to participate. But in public speaking in particular, our county contest has 10 people in each category sometimes. 5, 6, depending on how many people signed up for it. Our district always has over 10. It's a lot of competition even at the district level for District 7, yeah.
Favorite class at Amanda?
I feel like ag class.
Good answer. Way to go, Sarah.
But it's true. I really do enjoy it and everything that we learn in there. Just with our agricultural background especially, it just lets us know a lot about it.
I'd say my favorite class of the day is probably instrumental music. I'm going to have to break the norm here. I really enjoy it. It's 8th period. It's at the end of the day after I've been through calculus and AP English, and I'm just ready to be done. I get to pull out my trumpet and just play for a while, cool off a little bit of steam. It's really comforting. I just really love to play.
When did you start playing the trumpet?
5th grade.
Wow.
I've been doing it ever since.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, it's just, there's so much activities going on that you guys are involved with. Do you get a lot of support from your teachers? I know your mom and your dad do, but do you get time off to do certain things, or do you pretty much do this on your own at night or before school? I mean, rehearsing and researching and those type of things for your competition?
We do have a lot of support in the FFA and outside of the FFA. We'll go into school the next day after winning a competition, and our teachers already know. It doesn't even have to be an ag teacher. I'll walk into history class, my teacher will be like, great job on your contest, and they'll already know it, and they'll give us that support. And in the FFA as well, our advisors are just very supportive, and all the volunteers that come to help. So it has really helped a lot on motivating us in each of our contests.
Yeah, our school in particular hosts the agricultural communications and the speaking contest for the district level. And so our staff at the school is extraordinarily supportive, and if we need judges for those contests, they are ready to fill the places. if we need people to judge contests, and they're ready to go. They know a lot about the contests, and they're just really excited to support and just see all the competition and how well everyone does across the district.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, we wish you the best of luck coming up. And between now and the national competition in Indianapolis, how many hours do you think you'll put in to be prepared for that? Just rough guess.
Oh, I don't know. A lot, probably. But right now, we're not doing it as much just because we have a little while. So I'm actually doing Ag Issues, which is another one of the CDEs. So I'm involved in that right now. So I'm putting most of my attention in it because our state contest actually comes up in a few weeks. But we'll definitely start pushing hard a few months before October, making sure we're prepared for each of our contests.
Exactly. Late summer is probably when we'll start to do it. The last 2 years that I've gone to a national contest, it's always been a team event. And so most of the time, as soon as school starts back up, that's when we'll really get back into it because the whole team's together every day. And so we can really work just a few times a week and then more as we get into the contest. Whereas because this is an individual contest, I mean, as soon as summer begins and we've got extra time, it's time to put the work back in.
Well, again, Aaron Sharp and Sarah Sharp from Amanda-Clearcreek FFA. I'm impressed. I really am. I always worry about when I'm in a nursing home who's going to take care of me, and you two can do that.
Thank you.
That would be fantastic. We do. We wish you the best of luck, and we hope everything. Keep us up to date. In fact, sure. When that gets done in Indianapolis, come back. We'll have you back on again, and it's super. I'm really proud of you two.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller, and remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.